Hello dear Taurus, how are you? Welcome. I hope you are doing very, very well. Taurus, welcome to your love reading. Let's start with single Taureans. Taureans who don't have a partner. Let's see how your energies are looking at this moment. If you're going through any process, if there's an opportunity to meet someone here. All right, let's see. Remember that this reading applies not only to Taurus Sun, but also to Taurus Rising. General reading of available energies, love reading. First, for Taurus. Single Taureans. Here we have the first card, the Five of Swords. We have the Ten of Pentacles. We have Death, Taurus, Eight of Wands. Two of Swords, Ace of Pentacles. Let's see how this ends. Page of Wands, Three of Pentacles, Six of Swords. And here we have, at the bottom of the deck, the Lovers. All right, Taurus. Single Taurus. Bottom of the deck card, right? It's kind of showing us the dynamic of your current situation. Why? Because with this energy, you're at a point right now, right? A point where you have decisions to make. Decisions about love. There could be a significant encounter here, an important connection. I feel like you're at a moment of emotional openness, right? Of consciously choosing someone. I feel that the topic of love right now for you, Taurus, is something important. It's an important area of your life, right? In terms of current energy. But what's going on? Let's analyze step by step how this reading unfolds. Let's start here. I feel that here you are starting from an energy, especially in this first row, that there's something from your past right now, right? It's like your past keeps speaking, right? Something is ending, or perhaps there's something you need to end. I feel like you've come from some complicated experiences with someone, and this could sometimes be some kind of disappointment you've had with a person, some kind of conflict, right? Or maybe even a situation where there was some emotional wear and tear, right? There's an energy that follows, showing that you have a desire for stability, right? It's like you're no longer interested in superficial relationships, but instead you're looking for something with a future, something you can build on. So that's why I think this energy has appeared, because you're at a point of closing a chapter. You're going through a deep transformation. And this could also be talking about the end of certain emotional patterns that have been dragging on for a long time. So Taurus, I think you're closing a cycle right now. Taurus, singles. You're closing a very important emotional cycle, so you can open yourself up to a completely new one. Let's keep analyzing. And now let's move a bit to the center, because opportunities are showing up here. Movement is starting to appear here. And I also feel this as attraction. It could be a new adventure here. It could be someone who shows up unexpectedly. Attention, fire signs approaching. Sun rising, it could be an Aries, it could be a Leo, a Sagittarius. But it's also indicating to me more emotional activity than usual. This also has to do with your desire to win someone over, or even to be won over. But what's going on? There are doubts. There's indecision, right? There's also a need to open your heart. But I feel like you're at a point of evaluating. I'm evaluating whether it's worth it or not to trust this person who has approached. The concrete opportunity is there. There's a real possibility for you. I mean, there's a connection here that could start. So what I think is that You have a present opportunity here at this moment. But you have to make a very strong decision. That's why I mentioned the issue of making a decision, whether you open yourself up to this opportunity or not. Let's go from below. And I feel that here the future energy of your situation changes a lot. Why? Because there's curiosity here. It's like, I'm curious to get to know this person who has appeared. I'm a little excited about the idea. There might be some messages being sent. This could be a new contact. There's like a mutual interest, right? Like the desire to explore or even to try. And I want to experience this thing called love. I want to go on that date. I want to get to know this person. It could be kind of signaling that they're starting to have like the beginning, right? From those conversations, from that exchange of messages, some kind of closeness, right? But it's a situation that starts to get you excited, right? This is something new. That's why I'm bringing it up here. There's a new person, strong, and it feels strong. The sign, a fire sign. Okay? It could also be a younger person. It's a person with whom there is an age difference, or who has a very fresh energy, like a very youthful energy. Now, what comes after this energy then comes building something. I mean, I don't feel like this is a superficial connection, but I feel like here you both are looking to get to know each other, to recognize each other, also to create something, to build something together, a foundation, or at least start to build trust, to spend time together. You should know that love is built, little by little. How is this situation ending? It's the transition. I feel like this is a positive transition for you because it's a healing process. I think, Taurus, that you are going through a time of change. Really, it's a much calmer stage, like you're leaving behind conflicts from the past. So it seems to me that there's a new interest here that has probably been sparked by a new person. There's potential here for building a connection, and there's emotional progress. So I feel that this is something very, very, very positive. Now, it really catches my attention. In general, what I see in certain cards is that there is truly an openness to a new romantic experience. I mean, there is someone specific here, someone new. In other words, there's a desire to start something. It's not just about healing your emotions or your past. Okay. It is true that the reading is telling you that you need to end one stage so that another can begin. Okay. This is very, very important for you, right? I mean, it's not just about reflection, but what I mean is that change and transition don't happen just because of reflection, but also because of the new experience you're about to go through. Okay, then Taurus, in general, you've been closing things off. You've been closing a very important emotional chapter, and we can see it here. With an ex-partner, with someone you couldn't let go of, with a relationship that didn't work out. But it's true that because of this situation, you're here being a bit cautious, right? A bit of indecision about whether to open up or not. But it seems like the universe and life are really moving your energy, and these opportunities are showing up. This person is showing up, and they're starting to make you curious and interested as well. The possibility of building something gradually is there. You're going to be coming out of those turbulent waters from the past. You're going to be coming out. Okay, so I not only see that you're healing, but I also see that you're opening up. Okay, the real possibility is there. Open yourself up to those new conversations. Start that new connection that could develop. Close out whatever you need to from your past. Okay, but to make room so that a new story can start to appear in your life in a more natural way and much more aligned with what you are looking for in love today. Let's go to the other group now. I've really enjoyed this reading. Let's go for Taurus, who are in a relationship. We're talking about Taurus in a relationship. Who are dating, Taurus who are married, Taurus living together, right? Let's see how it looks. What is the great energy available at the moment? Love reading for Tauruses in a relationship. Let's see. Taurus in a relationship. You start off very well here with the 9. We have the Sun. We have the 3 of Swords. We have the 9 of Wands, the High Priestess, the Magician. We're down here. The Jack of Cups, the King of Cups, and the 6 of Pentacles. At the bottom of the deck, wow, it has repeated again. We have the Lovers here. Wow. Wow, Taurus. It's a really deep reading because there's a lot of love in this reading. What I also see is a lot of healing that you are going through with your partner. But there's also a lot of emotional maturity. And it's true that there's a wound there. There's a wound there. But I still feel like it's being processed. Okay. What I see is that many Taurus who are in a relationship may be going through a moment in the relationship where there were or there are, right? Certain emotional truths that need to come to light. But why does this happen? Because they need to come to light so that the bond can be strengthened. Let's start analyzing from your underlying card, okay? Because you're also at a moment of choice, of the decisions, right? Of union with another person, maybe a much deeper union of compatibility, of starting to make decisions with your partner, decisions with the other person, of aligning your heart and your mind. So what I feel right now for Taurus in a relationship is that the relationship is currently going through a phase where you have to keep choosing your partner. It's a daily decision. I mean, today I choose you. The next day I choose you again. Okay? But you don't choose the other person out of obligation, but out of awareness. Okay? So I feel like what the lovers are asking you right now is a bit like this. It is. If you keep building together, right? You choose, or you can even ask your partner this, right? We choose to keep growing as a couple, right? I mean, that's kind of how those questions feel to me. Now, if we're going to analyze this first part, this first row, I feel like it's one of the most striking ones in this whole reading. Okay. Because, why? Because you start with great self-esteem at this moment, like independence, personal security, satisfaction. So this is part of what it's reflecting to the energy of the couple, right? It could be one of the two, or it could be both. Okay? To both members. I feel that the couple, what's happening right now, is kind of recovering their self-worth. This tells us a lot about people who don't depend on the other person in order to love. They remain here with an energy of clarity, of happiness, of sincerity, of vitality. That joy is shared with others. So what I believe is that you have a genuine love and that there are great possibilities to enjoy the bond you have. Why? Because there is light, because there is truth. There is significant ability to connect with others, but here it appears, here the challenge appears, right? And this often speaks to us about emotional wounds, about disappointments, about sometimes words that hurt at the time, or about situations that have already passed, but they still keep generating something inside you. I also feel this as a wound that hasn't healed yet. It hasn't finished healing yet. So What's going on? It seems to me that the relationship you have right now with your partner, there's a lot of love in this relationship. There really is a lot of love, and there's great potential. But I feel that there's something that needs to be acknowledged right now, and that it has to be healed. It's like this. Look at this. The sun here is shining on that wound because this can no longer be hidden. It needs to be brought out. The wound needs to be externalized in order to be healed. If we go here to your central energy, it's a very psychological energy. What we have here, why? Because we're cautious. There are like defenses here, emotional ones. There could also be a sense of protection. I mean, I see a Taurus here who's a bit on alert with their partner. I mean, maybe there has been something. We see that you've come maybe from a conflict, from some kind of difference, from some argument or from some complex situation that has left you there. Like, I have to consider these things, or I'm just more alert than other times. I mean, like, I feel I want to move forward. But there can also be some fear to suffer or to go through something again that you've already been through, right? Now, here we have depth because we have Taurus intuition. Here, and at times there may be in the couple, if we're talking about silences, things that aren't fully expressed or said, or that you're going through a moment of internal emotions, processing something internally. So it could be that it's telling us, this energy might be telling us that there are feelings that are still not being communicated completely, openly, or fully. But what's happening here? We have the energy that's giving you the ability to transform this whole situation because there's communication, because there's initiative, and because there's manifestation. So what it seems to me is that I feel that you, as a couple, have enough tools to be able to resolve what has hurt. Okay. But first, everything that remains unspoken has to be talked about. It's not like we just have to touch on that topic. We have to talk about something we've never talked about before. And they can also be very deep topics. They can be taboo subjects, topics that have been hidden, secrets or topics that have been repressed, right? Like we have to talk about that. Yeah. If we go to the last row, Taurus, I feel like this is a super positive energy for you all because I feel like there's a really good outcome here. Because here we have emotional openness. I feel like there's tenderness between you. Right now, there are nice messages that are starting to come through, be shared between you. I also see it as a strong reconciliation, right? There's a lot of sensitivity. It's like a sweet energy surrounding the couple. So, are you going through an evolution here? Right? I see that the bond is maturing emotionally. You're starting to manage your emotions better without needing to repress them. Stable love is coming. You and your partner are starting to understand each other more because there's greater empathy. And that's important. And look at how this sequence ends. Because we have reciprocity between giving and receiving, I feel like here you are finding balance. As a couple, there is a fair exchange between what one does, what one gives, and what the other receives. You are supporting each other in the relationship. So I think that in this situation, I feel like a combination appears. Hey, we are evolving as a couple. Okay. There are things that catch my attention, and I want to emphasize certain things that we have seen, like that wound needs to come to light so it can be healed properly. And I feel that everything that has been kept inside up until today, at this moment, it has to be transformed into communication. You have to express what you've been holding in, what you've been feeling. Okay, but I truly feel there's real love here. There's a real love between you two. Yes, what I see is that that wound needs attention, right? And that's where we start to understand the issue of defenses a bit. Why these defenses are activated, why there's so much caution. If I say this, what are they going to think? If I don't say it, they might also think something. It's like being in that state because something has happened. And it's like you don't want to go back there. I do feel a great capacity between you two to understand each other and to transform the situation. But the evolution of the reading itself, it was telling me that right now, Taurus, in your relationship, it's evolving into a much more mature bond. And it creates a much more balanced bond. There's a willingness to build. There's a lot of potential. There's a lot of love. But it's necessary for something to be healthy and for it to be discussed from a place of honesty and from a place of truth. There is a lot of growth right now in your bond. All right. Dear Taurus, this is what we've seen in your love reading for Taurus singles and Taurus in relationships. I hope you all have a beautiful day. And I'll see you here next time.